look, the argument really is simple, yeah? It's a beautifully simple argument. I'm saying that the universe is very complex. That if you look at the properties of the universe, as documented by theistic and atheistic cosmologists, they refer to a fine-tuning of the universe. So I've quoted to you before, as I said, Stephen Hawkins in A Brief History of Time, where he refers to this reality, he calls it fine-tuning. And I talked about Martin Rees, who wrote a book called Just Six Numbers. And I want you to just one more time think about this. He details 6 numbers. All of these numbers, he says, describe the reality of the universe. These numbers are massive. I mean, they have so many digits. He said, had one of these numbers been different, the universe would not be able to facilitate human life, and there would not be a fine-tuning of the universe. Or the universe could not exist in the way it does at the moment, in the complex way it does. So we've agreed really that for the universe to have been around, and for us to suggest that it was a random generation would be really tantamount. The probability of this is 0. Okay. The probability of 0.0, like so many digits, then maybe a 1.
You said for the universe to be around. I don't think that's the case. I think it's the
to
universe
be
to be around as we understand it, and in a situation in which we can survive.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. So what I'm saying is, when I discuss this with atheists, the point I always say is that if we look around and see the intelligent design, then that must, I would say, it must really follow that we say that there must be an intelligent designer. Do you see what I mean?
I do see what you mean. Yeah. So I would say that that assumes that humanity is the point of that design. I would have thought, which isn't
like the one that is
So the point of this universe is human life, which I don't think is supported by the vastness of the rest of the universe. And my point about the probability thing was, in the similar way, I said it before, I know the probability is way higher, but a lottery draw, and as you said, the probability is way higher. Any probability of any numbers coming out is infinitesimally small.
Yeah.
If it were 1 million numbers in the lottery, it would be even smaller. Just because one happened in one draw doesn't mean it wasn't random and it wasn't chance. And I say that I think to say that this is the situation in which humans can exist suggests that humans is the point, which I think is an assumption.
Right. No. So you're saying that because my argument rests on the fact that a human being is the sentient creature who is looking around himself and coming to conclusions. And you're saying really it doesn't fit the bill to suggest that this human being is the only sentient creature perhaps in the vastness of the universe.
No, not necessarily. I'm saying that were things slightly different, one of the 6 numbers slightly different,
yes,
everything could have been different, and that's fine. It doesn't require humanity to sorry, I didn't explain that very well at all. I'm saying that humans being alive is no evidence that things couldn't have been different.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with your point there. I mean, I'm not talking about, look, when we talk about human beings, we are talking about biological creatures, physiological creatures, psychological creatures, in the context of the cosmos, yeah? My argument is about the cosmos. It's an argument based on like the natural world we see around us. Human beings are the creatures which basically, as we are doing now, we can't get around it.
Consider the universe.
We're considering it, the universe, or analysing, evaluating the universe, trying to find out how we fit into the universe. So really what I'm saying is, when we do that, we realise that there's an incredible pattern here. Had it been different, there would not have been a fine-tuning, according to the physicists and cosmologists.
And we couldn't exist.
And human life, or life wouldn't exist. Do you see what I mean?
I don't think that doesn't necessarily follow. I think human life wouldn't exist.
Or any life.
I don't think that necessarily follows.
Go on.
There's no reason to think that there aren't many other probabilities.
That's not what I'm saying, by the way. These are the references. I mean,
these are the physicists that you're referencing. I realise that. I think our life could not exist as it is now But I think there's no reason to suggest that life is the point of the universe, and that there might be many other probabilities where things are different, in which other things could happen. The whole universe could be different. Just because it happened this way is not evidence to suggest that someone chose this way.
No, well, it happened this way, and this way facilitated human life.
Yeah.
Had it not happened this way, yes, human life wouldn't be facilitated. So what I'm saying, had the numbers been different, we wouldn't be around to talk about this. Yeah. So the fact that you've got such a probability that suggests that the universe couldn't be in a random generation is really an evidence, is a testament to the reality that the universe could not have been a random generation. Do you see what I mean?
I see what you're saying, but I would reject it for the same reason, because you're saying that if things were otherwise, we wouldn't exist. We do exist, therefore someone tuned those conditions. Something designed those conditions.
Yeah. So
I'm saying that the universe.
One more time. So say that one more time. So you're saying.
So my understanding of what you said is that if everything were different, then we couldn't exist.
Yes.
Because we do exist, it suggests an intelligent tuning of those circumstances.
No. What? Let me just tweak the argument. Not because we do exist, because the conditions, the conditions in the cosmos allowed humans to exist.
Right.
Which is a little bit different. So we don't need to exist, right? But the conditions were such that it can facilitate human beings living on planet Earth or any other planet. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking here about the philosophical reality of human being. I'm talking about the physical reality of the universe. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So this argument is strictly a mathematics / physics argument, you could say.
Yeah.
Looking at nature around you and deducing that it's probabilistically almost, as we said, impossible for this to be a random generation. And you agreed with that?
No, not necessarily. I think this is one result of a million different probabilities, like more than a million different probabilities of those six numbers.
So you were talking about multiverse theory?
No, not again. No, sorry, I said not again because I said it last time.
Yeah.
I don't mean that at all. I mean that, similar to the lottery draw, a lottery draw with a million numbers, each one of them would be ludicrous.
That there was a million universes?
No, I'm saying there's one lottery draw.
Okay,
with
so
a million
one universe.
Numbers. One lottery draw. The probability of it coming out in any order was infinitesimally small.
Yes.
But that doesn't imply that someone fixed the draw. That just means the probability was... Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
I get
I'm not saying there were a million draws in multiverse. I'm saying a single draw was improbable.
So do you want to live your life? Yeah? I mean, really. This is my question, because you seem like a reasonable person, honestly. I like your argument. It makes sense.
I like yours. It's one of the better ones I've heard.
Thank you. But it's a very simple argument. What I was saying is that what I've heard that you've just said now is that the universe, really you compared it to a lottery ticket. So the fact that the universe could have been randomly generated the way it is like the same thing as going and basically doing the lottery and getting all your numbers right. But we know, me and you, that the actual probability is much greater than that, yeah?
Oh yeah, so I'm saying if it were a lottery draw and there were a million numbers rather than just
6 or 10 or whatever, I don't know. I don't do the lottery.
No, the probability's too small.
But you see your point. Yeah. But you're living your life.
Yeah.
Okay, think about this, please, yeah? You're living your life as an atheist, suggesting that very thing, that there was a big lottery number of a million numbers, not just 12, yeah? And that someone guessed all of those numbers right. That's tantamount to what you believe in.
I guess so, yeah.
Yes, okay. Now, do you see that...
I'm not sorry, if I may just quickly,
Someone guessed.
I'm saying that a draw happened.
Yes.
And so just because the draw...
Organs have guessed it. It's 10 times the power 500. Organs have guessed it and said that the calculation for it is 10 times 500 that been a mistake.
Yeah.
10 times 500. Can you imagine
to the power of 500.
The power of 500.
Yeah. I'm saying it. I'm not disagreeing with the probability.
It's a mistake, not because anything else.
No, I'm not saying it's a mistake. I'm agreeing that the probability is infinitesimally small, but I'm saying just because it's small doesn't imply that it didn't happen. Just like how one lottery draw doesn't imply.
So what I'm saying is you're admitting that it's so infinitesimally small, but then you're saying that it must have happened anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So. But isn't that quite? Sorry, but you're an intelligent guy.
Yeah.
isn't that quite ridiculous? Because wouldn't it be more appropriate here to say, instead of believing in a lot, you know, it's really like this. If I have a big bag, yeah, of a billion letters, different letters,
Yeah.
and I throw it, yeah, and it becomes like Shakespeare. Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Monkeys and
is there.
typewriters.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if I said I got a big bag here of a billion letters, I'm going to throw it on the streets. Yeah? I'm going to do it right now. 1 second. Let me throw it. And then it actually becomes Macbeth. Would you Macbeth and maybe Hamlet as well, and you know, Romeo and Juliet and all of it in order, and you know the way he said it, word for word, letter for letter. You know, it would not be something you would put your money on, right?
No, but I would say if you did throw the same bag of letters, any combination in which they landed is as probable as it landing in Shakespeare's order. Even if it's random, any order.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. So I'm saying, so to believe that if I threw it and it becomes Hamlet.
I'm not saying we don't make sense either.
Yes. So you wouldn't take this kind of probability.
No, but I would.
You wouldn't put your life on this, would you?
What, it resulting in Hamlet?
Yeah.
No, of course.
You would not.
No.
So, okay, if you wouldn't put your life on it, so why are you putting your afterlife on it?
Because what you're doing is you're implying that we are as designed and detailed and complicated as Hamlet. And I reject that idea. I'm saying...
As a curse, you mean?
And I've just used the probability kind of...
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is when you throw the sack of letters, it's going to land in an order. And each one of those orders is...
Makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense, not necessarily.
It
can land in a random order. And each one, any order it could land in, the probability is very small.
Yes.
But it did land in one of them. Just like our universe did exist.
Yeah, no, but that's not an argument against what I'm saying at all. Do you see what I mean?
No,
do you know why it's not?
Tell me.
Let me tell you why it's not. If I say to you, look, the lottery numbers are, 12, 15, 9, 6, 4, 5, 6, 8. But then, someone says it could have been 1, 3, 4, 9, 7, 8, 9. And the probability of it being this and this is like this. And so it's the same. But it doesn't mean, I'm not talking about the fact that they've all got the same probabilities. I'm saying, what's the probability of the numbers being this?
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't care about the rest of the probability. I'm just talking about one variable here, which is the universe. So it's very small. The fact that in the first instance, that all of the probabilities were the same, of it landing in whatever sequence, doesn't negate the fact that the probability is so small of it landing on a particular sequence. Yeah. So I'm talking about the particular. This particular, which is the universe here, in this analogy, according to, as we said, cosmologists and physicists, the probability of it being a random generation is infinitesimally small.
Yeah.
So we have to think to ourselves now, how did the universe come to be what it is? Now we have 2 or 3 different options. One option is to maintain that it was a random generation, which is, as we said, a ridiculous, kind of like impossible option.
I don't accept that.
Okay, forget the word ridiculous. But I would say almost impossible. We agreed, yeah? For it to be random, yeah? And facilitate human life.
No, it's almost impossible that it did end up like this.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it's impossible that it was random.
No. Yeah, so I'm saying that
I'm saying the probability of any result was as tiny as this result.
Okay, but we're talking about, of the things that we're talking about is fine-tuning of the universe, yeah? So I'm saying that what is the probability that the universe was fine-tuned for any human life or any life to exist? And we're saying that the probability of that reality, which would mean that we as human beings are here.
From Big Bang, they've studied it, and they did this study, and they say there might be like the only solution they have now. Even believe in God or believe there's other planets like our planet, and this probability is large number, 16 million.
Yeah.
Zeros, man, zeros. To have a probability, we have same planet like ours, and we don't have. Just because they don't want to believe there is a God, there is creation. If the world was created 1 second faster than it is, we wouldn't have a planet. If it was like late 1 second, we wouldn't have a planet.
So we would have had something else.
You've got 3 choices, yeah?
I'm saying we would
have anything.
No, we wouldn't. But something else would have happened.
No, it could have been imploded upon itself. That's the point. What he said is an interesting point.
But that's as improbable as anything else.
Yeah.
As us being.
What I'm saying is, so you've got this probability randomness. It either suggests that it was a random generation, which is tantamount to believing in impossibilities. Number 2, you can say evolved, which is a biological thing, which people like Richard Dawkins are starting to favour now, because they realise the difficulty in saying it's random. They really do. atheists realize the difficulty in saying that the universe was a random generation. People like Richard Dawkins come in and actually have started to posit a theory where the universe evolved. Now, biology and physics are two separate sciences. He's a biologist. He's superimposing his field onto another field. There is no evidence whatsoever that the universe was evolved. So we couldn't use that as an argument unless we found evidence for it. The third thing is to suggest that there was an intelligent designer that had the creative potential to change the situation and to align the universe the way it's been aligned. Now what I'm saying is that this, of the three choices that we have, is the most logical, rational choice that we can go for. Do you see what I mean?
So you're saying that intelligent design of those three options is the most...
Yeah.
I do see what you're saying, and I think it's a really strong argument. But for me, I think you're too soon to dismiss the random thing for the same reasons I've said before.
And then if I was to ask you another question...
2016, we reach everywhere.
Yeah, but I was going to say another point. Which was, so you've got the infinitesimally random, but then you've got another problem as well. The question is, we know, right, from the empirical reality that 0 plus 0 can never equal 1. In other words, something can never come from nothing. You see what I mean? So we've got a problem here, one problem.
It's more Shakespeare, it's King Lear. Nothing can come from nothing,
we
speak again.
We keep talking about Shakespeare. First we talk about Hamlet, then Romeo and Juliet, now King Lear. But what I was going to say to you really was 0 plus 0 can never equal. The Quran says, in chapter number 52, verse number 36, it says, أَخُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Have they been created from nothing? Or are they themselves the creators of themselves? So in other words, would you maintain that we or the universe came from nothing?
I kind of maintain that it's a null question because I believe that time started at the same time the universe started. So to say what was there before doesn't make sense because there was no time to be before if that makes sense.
In philosophy, there are two theories of time. There's the A theory of time and there's the B theory of time. The A theory of time suggests that before the universe there was time. Yes? And that this was linear, etc. The B theory of time doesn't suggest the same notion. For you to now say that there wasn't time before the universe, what is required from you is evidences. Do you see what I mean? So can you provide?
Yeah, I think so.
Go on.
That is the theory. It says everything has a reason. Everything in this world has a reason. If this tree went up because of the reason, because of the water, because of the looking after.
So he's saying every effect has a cause, basically.
And this
so my
cause has a reason. This is the first thing you would ask yourself.
So my evidence for the idea that time is not linear is that it changes dependent on other things like position in space and speed.
Yeah, but that's in the context of the universe.
Yeah.
So we're talking about something which is outside of the context of the universe, which we have no knowledge of.
Sorry. Oh, as in before the universe. Yeah.
So because we are limited as human beings to the five senses, and empiricism is limited to those five senses. But when you come out of the universe, you've got a completely different context.
Would I not say that the nothing that can come from nothing argument is an excellent one?
Yes.
But I would not. Does not extend similarly to God. If nothing can, then God created the universe, which is fine. But then where did God come from?
It's a nice argument. I was happy that you said that. I would say that it was necessary for there to be a deity, or an entity, right? Because deity has religious connotations. It was necessary for there to have been an entity that was the first.
Can that entity not be the universe? Can that entity not be the universe?
I'm just saying that entity had to have certain qualities which we've discussed before. We're talking about the fine-tuning.
Design and
intelligence, the creative capacity to change the situation, etc.
I see.
Remember when you said to me, can you prove God according to the Quran? I was completely honest with you. I said that, there's so many attributes of God in the Quran, Al-Wadud, the loving, the merciful, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the most gracious, the most... I cannot deductively prove each of those, In fact, we believe that this is something which cannot be proven from the intellect. That it has to be taken from the text. But there are some things, some of God's attributes, like His ilm or His knowledge, like His qudra or His strength or His ability to change, that we can conclude are deductible. You see what I mean?
I see what you mean.
So I'm not saying to you that, look, what I said to you here was that the ones or the attributes that we can conclude safely are rational, concludable things. Is that God is all-knowing, or God has knowledge, has enough knowledge to change the situation, that he had the creative capacity to change that situation, and yes, that he had the ability as well to do that. Now this was all required, and he was the first, and then there was nothing before him. These are the attributes of God we can confirm.
I would say, surely, again, nothing can come from nothing, if that argument is acceptable.
Now we say that God was always there.
But now I could say that the universe was always there.
But that's something which is unscientific.
Not really, the singularity.
Because the singularity, it posits that the universe had a beginning.
At the same time had a beginning.
Yeah, but it still had a beginning. So we know, because of the fact that the universe is expanding, that the universe must have had a beginning. Therefore, the universe was not the first thing that was in existence, because there must have been something before the universe. Now the question is, therefore, was there nothing before the universe? Because if there was nothing before the universe, then you're saying 0 plus 0 equals 1. If we're not saying that there must have been, so we're saying there must have been something before the universe. What was that thing?
But must there have been something before God?
No, we're saying that it's necessarily the case that there had to be an entity with no beginning. That was the first. Yes.
I'm very happy to call that the universe.
I would call that the universe as well.
You're calling it the universe. Well, I've said to this young man Oliver.
I would say the same. Yeah. I would happily say the same. And I might tag you in if that's right, because I'm cold and I want to go home. Man, thank you. It was great.
Are you going to think about this?
Yeah, definitely. And I'll be here next Sunday.
Oliver, so think about this and do one thing for next Sunday, like a homework.
No, do.
Read the Quran. And
we actually have several in our house.
Yeah, go read. You know what? I'll tell you where to read as well. Yeah, because it's related. Yeah. Read from chapter 50. Yeah. To chapter 57.
And then I'll come back and I'll talk to you.
And you come back and talk to me. No, don't read it from chapter 1. Read it from chapter 50.
Chapter 50
to chapter 57. That will take you about 15 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes to read.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll come back next Sunday and we'll talk again.
That's right.